Illustrations by Pete.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing an abstract, I guess it's a doodle really. It's just an idea. It could be if you have artist block or if you have a first page maybe in your sketchbook that you don't know what to do on it. The nice thing about this is there's no plan. There's no real idea other than maybe a general idea, but it doesn't have to be anything. No one knows what this looks like before you start. So they can't tell you that you messed something up. They can't tell you that something looks wrong, and you can be sloppy with it. You see a lot of unevenness in the lines and in the shapes, and none of it matters. You can do this however you want. And do you know what the difference is between an abstract and a doodle? I was thinking about this. I think the difference is the abstract is when you're known as an artist, and it's just a doodle if nobody knows about you or about what you're doing, because then you could just say, oh, I was just doodling, and not make it an abstract. Because if you call it an abstract, then there's an expectation there that it has to be an abstract something. But if it's just a doodle, you could just say it's a doodle, and I think that takes some of the pressure off. But anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to have fun with doodles. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to doodle. Alright, so I had a couple of videos that I posted 2 years ago, but I've been posting for about a month now, and I'm under the assumption right now, this is my opinion, this is my experience, I don't really think anyone knows what it takes to be on YouTube. And let me explain that. There are a lot of experts that try to give people advice on how to make it on YouTube. There's a ton of them, but they all give contradicting advice. Now, each one of them have maybe hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but they each say to do something completely different to get there. So I think they know how their channel got there, or maybe how they're doing well, but I don't really think they can tell you how your channel's going to do well. And let me give you some examples. So let's say they tell you to post on a schedule, because consistency is key for the algorithm. But then you have someone else say, yeah, but at the beginning, don't worry about posting on a schedule because the algorithm doesn't even know what you're about right now. It's not suggesting you anyway. So just post whatever you want. And then you have someone say, well, make sure you post videos on what you're passionate about, and it'll come through in your content and you'll connect with your audience. And then someone else, they might say, don't post the videos that you want to see. You have to post videos that your audience wants to see. And then you'll have another person that says, in order to find your they call it a niche audience. I don't know. I've always called it a niche, but maybe it is a niche. Who knows? But anyway, they say that post the videos that you like to see because there are people out there that are just like you, and you'll relate better and have a commonality with your audience. Now, all of the things that I just mentioned would sound completely logical if you presented them to someone. So how do you know what's actually going to work? And then someone says, oh, you got to use social media ads to help it get your exposure. But then someone else says, oh, social media ads are a waste of time. They don't grow your channel. And then some people will say, stuff your title with tags and keywords. And then other people say, no, that they stopped doing that a couple of years ago. That won't work. Is it just a fact that every creator has a hope of one day making it big on YouTube, so they just subscribe to people who promise that they have the answer on how to do that? Because these people have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they're contradicting each other. They're not all really saying the same thing. So can they all be right? Maybe for their channel or for someone else's channel, or I don't know. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I'm doing, and I will try to find some good advice, and if I get good advice, I'll take it, and If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine. I'm not going to hold them accountable for giving me advice. I'm not going to start harassing them and say, listen, you said that if I do this, maybe someone needs to do that to them. Listen, you said if I do this, I should have no problem. This should be fine. This should work. I should be getting more subscribers. I think it's been over a month. I think I have 10 subscribers right now. That's it. 10. And, that's okay. Because I want to entertain those 10 people. I want to talk to those 10 people. Matter of fact, if you're watching this, I want to talk to you. Speaking of talking to you, that's a terrible segue, isn't it? That's a terrible segue. But anyway, this painting, this drawing, painting, sketch, doodle, abstract thing that I'm going to do here, I enjoy doing these when I really don't know what else to do. And a sketchbook is very interesting to me. I like to think of it as music from maybe like your teenage years when you were really into a certain thing, and as soon as you hear that song or that artist or anything you're doing, it takes you back to that time almost instantly. And that memory, you know exactly where you were, what you were doing, maybe the people you were hanging out with, or a task you were doing, whatever it is. But if you flip through a sketchbook, it could take you back to that time in your life. What were you going through at that time when you did something? There's like a memory booster. So maybe if there's something you really want or need to remember, you should draw or paint or create something that will trigger your mind to remember that thing. It could be like a code book. It's a code book that only you understand, because if you really want to remember something, you paint something, especially if it's an abstract thing, no one really knows what that thing is, but you remember the thing you were supposed to remember. So can you make that thing like a prompt for the artwork or something? It doesn't matter. You don't have to make it a prompt for the artwork. You can just paint anything, and as long as you know what you were thinking about when you were painting that, then it's kind of like your own. It's like a life hack. It's like a memory hack. Now, I don't want anyone to take this. Well, you can take that from me. I don't really care. You can call that your own idea. It's okay. But I think I'm going to start doing like motivational speaking about this. If you really need to remember something, like where you left your keys, or maybe, where you hidden a buried treasure, or, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. If there's something you really, a date, or if there's something you really need to remember, draw a painting and think about it the whole time, and then see if every time you look at that painting that you remember that thing that you were trying to remember that whole time. Maybe it's like your PIN for your bank card or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. But, okay, we'll move on. So I want to get back to this YouTube channel. When I first started, I didn't think that I would be able to come up with enough things to talk about, or because I knew I didn't want to put this to music. I like it. I like when some people do it, but it's overdone to me. There's a lot of people that do the same thing over and over. They just put their art to music, and that's all they do, and they don't really talk about anything interesting. And some people do talk about something interesting, and sometimes it's not even interesting. Sometimes it's just something that they're talking about, random things, but it makes it interesting because that's what they're talking about. But anyway, I think that, I thought that it would be hard to come up with something, but as soon as I start to think about things I want to talk about, or I want to say, or all these things just flood through my mind, and I can talk and talk. And that's weird for me, because I don't do small talk very well. I don't usually call people up and, oh, hey, how you doing? Did you, it's nice weather we're having. And that's not me. That's probably the one way to lose me in a conversation, is to start talking about just the weather, or, I went to the store and went grocery shopping and found this really good deal. I don't want to talk about that. I really don't want to talk about that. But if you talk to me about something maybe interesting, maybe when you went to the store and found that deal, someone flew by on a skateboard and, tackled the stacked cans and something happened. That's an interesting story. But just saying, oh yeah, so this is my day and this is what I don't know. Sometimes that's not very interesting. Is it hypocritical of me because that's what I'm doing right now? I'm just talking to you about random things? It could be. You could call me a hypocrite for that. But that's okay. So I wanted to talk about things, and I don't know, I found it very easy. All this information came flooding into my head about things I want to talk about, and I started writing lists, and I have lists and lists of things that I would like to talk about, and I don't know if you're going to be interested in any of them. But if you are, then I would like to talk to you about them. And if you're not, that's okay. If there's something you want me to talk about, you go ahead and put that down in the comments and say, I would like to talk about this. And of course, I can give you my opinion on it. You can't respond. Maybe in the comments you can respond, but we're not going to have a regular conversation. But I would like to talk about things that you would like me to talk about. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's not too confusing, because I really want to talk about things that you want me to talk about, and not just ramble on about things that you might want me to talk about, like I'm doing right now. Well, let me at least bring this to a point. So, like I was saying, I'm not good at small talk, and I don't know how to react. Should you fake interest when you're talking to someone and they start talking to you about something really boring? Should you, oh yeah, really? Wow. Yeah, I bet that was difficult to, go to the bank today and sit in line for 10 minutes and you have to, I don't know. Should you pretend to be, is that lying? Is it the same thing as lying? Or is it being kind? Is lying and being kind the same thing in that circumstance? You're trying to pretend that you're interested to make someone feel better. Is that okay? I don't know. Now, if you have something in common with someone, that's different. You're talking about something and you're having fun and whatever, but sometimes it's going to be awkward, because you're probably going to talk about things that you don't care about, or that someone else, only one of the two people talking care about, and the other person doesn't care about, and it may get a little uncomfortable. And I'm not saying I don't want to talk to anyone. You don't just turn around and walk away and be like, you know what, we're probably not going to be friends, and you turn around and you walk away. That's not going to, you don't do that to people. But if you do, I don't think you'll have a lot of people that are your friends, because I'm sure everybody talks about stuff that you really don't want to talk about. And just, I don't know. I think so. So, if you want to stop me from talking to you at all, and really probably have me turn around and walk away, how about if you talk about your dietary habits? That's one thing that I probably hate talking about more than almost anything else, is what someone is doing that they think may be good for them, or their exercise trend of the month, or I don't know. When someone starts talking to me about that, I want to fake an injury so I can leave the conversation. I want to pretend, I have a stomach ache and I've got to leave. I've got to go. And I don't care if I have to run for a bathroom and lock myself in there for 10 minutes. That's fine. I can do that. It was probably more interesting than the conversation that I was having, that's for sure. So, if you ever meet me, please don't talk to me about your dietary habits or your exercise routine, or how, I don't know. It's just not something I'm ever interested in. And it's not because I don't exercise and I don't want to eat well. I just don't like to talk about it. It's not interesting to me. I don't understand why people do. Hey, I'm off this food, or I eat this food, or hey, I just had a great recipe that, ground cardboard and it tastes just like potato chips. And it probably doesn't. Because if you wanted a potato chip, you just eat a potato chip. You wouldn't eat some ground cardboard. But people do that. Oh no, this tastes just like this. It never does. It never tastes just like that. And in a world where that thing exists, why do you have something that tastes like it but not quite, and it's definitely enough that you'll notice, if you don't have to and you can just have that thing? But people are strange sometimes. I don't understand everything that they do. Okay, so back to the painting, drawing, the doodle. Back to the doodle. I did something very similar recently. It is almost the exact same thing, but I used 2 different colors. But it looks identical. I used 2 completely different colors, and it looks almost the same, and it could be just because of the lighting, or I'm not really sure. But it looks pretty similar. And I may put a lot more detail into this one than I did the other one. But this is something that was fun. I enjoyed doing it, and I encourage you to do doodles as much as you can. And if you become famous, just call them abstracts, and then people will pay millions of dollars for it. And that's just how that works. But making something interesting to look at is fun, and I enjoy it, and I hope you did too. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And I'm going to try and post probably once a week, every Monday. I think that's going to be my schedule. I want to make Mondays fun, so I'll try and do that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.